So review processes. So really what we're looking at here in terms of proposals is who they'll be reviewed by. So LAPP team, whoever is available and willing is going to review them. So again, that's myself, Marshawn, who's been asking such wonderful questions, and then Simone, who I introduced at the top. We're hoping to also bring on a program associate that would also be supporting this program, myself. And then we're going to ask 3 Los Angeles artists who have maybe been through this program before. We'll definitely have 1 artist that identifies as a parent and guardian reviewing as well. So 3 additional LA artists. So there's a lot of folks looking at everything. And then from there, the panel will select 4 projects to invite into the support, and 2 will definitely be parent and guardian artists. Okay. So the review criteria here is really around alignment with LAPP's mission. So if you don't know us well, what I would recommend too is just checking out our archives. We have a really robust LAX archive that you can see the type of work that we do here at LAPP. So really making sure that your project is kind of in the constellation of the conversations that LAPP has been fostering over the years. And again, we have touring projects, we have LAX, we have all that on our website. So you can kind of get a sense of the type of artists we work with. And again, just going back to our mission, we really want to focus on innovative, groundbreaking work that's really just pushing that conversation, pushing form, pushing content that's really relevant to today. The project's potential to stir a dialogue, with particularly in Los Angeles, but again, is it servicing the ideas of our time? Is it relevant? Is it timely? Is it something that people are chewing on right now? The alignment between the project's needs and our resources. Again, and I know we just went over this with Marcus's questions, but we don't unfortunately have, $30,000 to put into just the program expenses. I wish we did. That would be amazing. So we have the stipends. We have what we have for the project expenses. So we want to make sure that it's feasible. I'll use that word a lot when I give feedback calls, and maybe it didn't seem feasible. Maybe the scope and scale seemed a little out of alignment, and again, I always ask, I've been in development a long time, and I tell folks a project's life cycle is long and big. Maybe bite off a chunk, for this particular opportunity. It doesn't have to be everything all at once. I know we get so excited when we get an opportunity to develop our work, but scaling it to what is maybe more feasible for this particular proposal is really going to help you kind of get into that sweet spot. So just want to say that out loud. Again, ongoing development through 2023, and I know there's more questions about the timeline, but we just want to know, where is this going after this? Do you have some thoughts? Do you have some resources maybe already lined up? This is just all things that the reviewers are taking into mind. It's not a checklist like, oh, they have nothing lined up past this, so they're out. It's really just all of this is accumulating to see kind of what you're thinking. And then, of course, this is on our website and this is public available. We have a cultural equity and inclusion policy that is board adopted, and we prioritize work made by female identifying, non-binary, and BIPOC artists. But we, of course, welcome interest forms from any artists. This is the rubric that we provide the reviewers. I'm sorry, not the artist, but we are providing it to you all too. So obviously eligibility, you must reside in LA County. So this has already come up. You cannot just be doing work in LA County. You have to actually reside in LA County. So we will be asking you for your address once we do the contract for R&D and such. So please, 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 LA County only. Yeah. LA County's big too. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Hopefully. I'm just gonna mute folks if I hear them, because then we go into proposed project. So looking at these key questions here. So again, I'll say this, we just talked about it, but I'll just say it again. The project can be at any stage in the creative development process, but I really feel this program's resources are best scaled towards early experimentation, research, ideation, refinement, like just that, just a little bit, definitely not production. I just want to say that again. There is no public performance requirement or expectation. However, if that is helpful to your process, let us know, but we are not expecting that. We are not expecting in the proposal, like, oh, and then I'm going to have 20 people to do a reading and get people. Like, this is for you. This is you and your process. If that is helpful to your process, we had a dancer that was really helpful to her process. So we invited, 5-10 people. But other folks were like, no, definitely not ready. And that is totally fine. So this is really about the work and not about a public process. So in the review, we'll consider again, does it align with LAPP's mission, aesthetics, that it's really, generative work, performance-based. Does the proposed project demonstrate creativity, thoughtfulness? That's that line of inquiry, right? The catalyst question, is there a compelling line of inquiry? How might the work contribute to something happening, right? In LA, the LA community, relevancy again, and that could be in the catalyst, that could be in your project description. And does this timeline and plan have kind of a potential to move on, right? Like, it's just like, are we seeing that you are excited to continue this work? It's not like the R&D is the project. It's the R&D is the first baby step, right, to the project, or the second baby step to the project. I will say, really fully transparently and frankly, we got a lot of video projects last year to fund the actual making of videos. I will just say those did not score as high as folks that were performance based. So again, you can incorporate video in your performance, but for R&D to fund just filming, that's going to be a less strong proposal. So I will just say that. So again, we are really focused on performance, bodies in space. And so yes, we understand that filming might have to happen because you're going to incorporate that filming into a live performance later. But I just have found that reviewers have typically not have been as enthusiastic about those proposals as proposals that incorporate live performance. So just want to say that out loud. Marjan?
I also just want to say that we understand that there was a pandemic, and for some people, their work in the last few years might have taken place on video, but that's also a really great place for you to use the text box describing the work sample to let us know what that's about.
That's great. Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. Like the samples can be something that was on a digital stage or a digital sharing. But in terms of the project that you're putting together, like again, I'm not saying you cannot submit with that. I'm just saying that we have seen stronger proposals really incorporating kind of liveness in the space. The other criteria rubric is about resource matching. So again, I say this again, feasibility. We'll take into account the size of the collaboration team that you're asking to collaborate in this process, right? And just make sure the scope and scale of the project is in relation to our resources we can offer. Again, the timeline, will it serve well? Take into account, again, what we just talked about, if you want a space rental, but you can only really do like one day here, one a month, that might be a little bit more difficult than somebody that can maybe do like chunks at a time, right? So we can kind of like get a good deal on space, etc. So we're just taking all this into account. Doesn't mean that you're like, again, outright not eligible or not considered, but these are all the factors that the reviewers will take into account. And again, is the resources aligned with, our mission, the way we work with innovation with technology, social engagement? Does it, is there an audience in mind for the piece? And that can come out in the project description, all of that. Is there risk-taking happening, et cetera? So resource matching and artistic practice. And the artistic practice, I would say, is really about the work samples for us. Again, that comes back to that and that biography and that artist statement. We just want to know about you as an artist. So we're trying to get a better sense of, through the work samples, the project descriptions, to Marcian's point, does the work sample demonstrate kind of, multidisciplinary curiosity and interest, or something that's really pushing boundaries, something that's messing with form, something that's being innovative in terms of content? And does the artist's past work suggest their practice involves creative risk-taking, engaging in research, thoughtfulness. We're just really trying to look from what we have, which is the work samples, your website, your biography, the catalyst, like what we're asking for. That's how the reviewers will get these answers, right? Does this work seem like it's happening with care? So those are the rubrics. That's the review criteria. Again, we'll have this recording available if you want to go back and listen to it.